Good day everyone, I'm Hurley of RFI Reviews here, back at it again with my review for the FiiO RR11, a portable radio. It's a pocket radio, okay? But before I proceed, I'd like to thank FiiO for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, including me, because I do not need to edit extensively these videos because again, videos aren't really my forte. I prefer writing my reviews rather than doing video reviews. Okay, so there's that. Hey, so FiiO RR11 is a niche product that it is a very niche product in today's setting, or in today's modern setting, because as far as I know and based on my experience, only a handful or probably a few people uses radio, and particularly those people are on the middle-aged people, probably around 30 years old tops, most of those people at least. Okay, so it is very interesting and at the same time very exciting that FiiO catered those people who prefer using a FM radio as part of their music listening sessions, or their catching up in today's day and age. Okay, so here the FiiO RR11 exists. Okay, the FiiO RR11 costs around under $50. As far as I remember, it is around $40, give or take, but for sure it is around $50 below. Okay, FiiO sent an RR11 to me in this silver colorway, as you can see. Let me focus it a bit. Yes, as you can see, it is in the silver colorway, but based on their website, you can purchase the FiiO RR11 in a variety of colors. Like for example, they have a black colorway. They also have a champagne gold colorway, which looks nice, as you can see in this photo. It really looks nice. The champagne colorway really looks nice, and the silver, I received the silver version and a red version, which shares the same color with the FiiO DM13, or the Discman that I have reviewed earlier. Okay, so as you can see, this is the box. Nothing too fancy, nothing too special, but at the same time, you'll know at a glance what you'll be getting. So props to FiiO on that one. It is the RR11, the radio receiver 11, and as you can see, the branding is in there. It is very elegantly well done, in my opinion, if that's a thing. As you can see, it is very simple, and here are the dimensions. Is 83.2 by 34.9 by 13 millimeter, and it weighs 46 grams. So based on this one, it is very lightweight. And it is very compact, which is very true. We'll tackle it later on. And again, I got the RR11 in silver colorway. Okay, as for the inclusions and accessories, there isn't really much when it comes to the FiiO RR11 accessories. So in an essence, or essentially, you'll get the FiiO RR11 itself, the cable, which is very important if you're using a particular feature with the RR11, which will be discussed later on, and the cable, as you can see, and the flatted earbud. Sorry, this is the FiiO JF1 as far as I remember, and you can purchase this separately as far as I know as well. This is around like $10 to $15, I believe. But when you purchase the FiiO RR11, this is already included in the box, so you can use the FiiO RR11 right away. Okay, and here is the FiiO RR11 itself. As you can see, it is very compact, it is very light, it is definitely very light, and yes, it is made of metal. It sure is made of metal. As you can see, it is very compact, very sturdy as well, and it is well done. Actually, in my opinion, this is by far the most premium radio receiver that I have used and probably reviewed in my life as we speak, because as a kid, I use radio like a lot, literally a lot, because I don't know how to use YouTube yet, music streaming sites before when I was a kid. And radios are usually my go-to whenever I listen to music. And the radios we have here, those portable ones, those the clip-on ones, are made of plastic. They are made of cheap, brittle plastic. So it is a very new thing to me that the Fio R11 is made of solid metal. It is I am still amazed actually for this price point that you can get a metal built radio receiver, a modern radio receiver. Okay, so to give you an idea about the size on this one, here's the Snowski Echo Mini. As you can see, they are nearly the same in height, but definitely the Snowski Echo Mini is less compact when compared to the RR11 of FiiO. And of course, this is made of metal as well. So this is very compact, and this is very packed when compared to this one, when compared to the Echo Mini. But that isn't understandable, okay? But because this one is made, this is a radio, okay? Okay, now we'll go to the sound signature first before I discuss the other things that the FiiO R11 had. As for the sound signature, if you manage to obtain a decent or a very clear / strong signal strength, you'll the FiiO R11 will exhibit a very neutral / it is a very neutral / balance, whatever you may call it, because it is within that ballpark. It is a well balanced sounding pocket radio, because that is quite unique on its class, because in my opinion, most of the radios I had before can either be too teeny or too thin in sound, while the more premium ones or the desktop radio that we had before exhibits a very warm, very thick sound quality, which is again the FiiO R11 does not have. But at the same time, it is very versatile, and it is very modern. Let's say, yes, it is very modern for a radio receiver in terms of sound, because there aren't a lot of there aren't a lot of radio receivers that are currently existing, specifically under $50 that exhibit the sound quality that the FiiO RR11 has, which is very promising in my opinion, because again, the RR11 is a niche product. Okay, the RR11 isn't really for it isn't really for the audiophiles. No offense on that one, because mostly audiophiles will probably buy their music, they will probably have some streaming subscriptions to listen to their music, while FiiO does it, the R11 does it in a very analog, very classic way, which is tuning in the radio. Okay, so there's that. Again, the FiiO R11 has a very well balanced sound character. If we're being specific, it has a little bit of warmth to it, which is again a good compliment, because again, most flatted earbuds during the radio scene or the radio age, it is around 2000s or 1990s, most of them sound really thin. So adding a bass to that, to the pairing, really complements the overall sound or the overall experience, which is also observed here in the R11. Okay, now as for the build quality, like what I have said before, it is very durable. It is made of metal. It does not feel hollow. It does not feel fragile at all, while keeping the weight very light. It is very light actually. In my opinion, it is a bit lighter when compared to the Echo Mini, which is surprising because this is all metal, while the Echo Mini is made of plastic. So there's that. While keeping the premiumness, or the premium feel to it. Okay, even the buttons are very tactile, or the levers are, as you can see, and as you can see as well, all of these dials, all of these switches are knurled. So it does have a tactile texture feeling to it, which I really love, especially during commutes, because I don't usually look at the RR11 when I am operating it. I usually keep it in my pocket and just feel the buttons on, or the dials on what, on how should I operate this one. Okay, and here are the navigations and control. As you can see, it does have this feature, the magic bass option, which adds a bit of bass to the overall sound. It is subtly done, but at the same time it impacts the overall sound as well, which is a good thing, because it doesn't show the bass right in front of your face, but at the same time it complements to the overall sound as well. As you can see, it by default the magic bass is turned off, and you can slide it on the number 1 position for you to get for you to add an additional bass, or you can slide it all the way into the number 2 position for you to have a an added bass, but at the same time it does have a slight 3D effect to it, which they marketed it as well. So you can definitely notice that 3D effect, but again, not all people are a fan of those. Personally, I am not a fan, because it feels weird in my opinion to have that additional type of 3D effect. But I don't yuck someone's yum, so you do you. You can always use that, but to most scenarios, I keep these off, the magic bass off, or I just put it in the 1 position, because there are certain setups that I prefer a bit of bass, if you know what I mean. And here's the second switch. So again, this is another feature that the FiiO R11 implemented really well, that most radios do not have, probably all of the other radios do not have, is you can use this as an amplifier. Okay, not as a DAC of course, but as an amplifier. Okay, so you can switch to FM for the radio, and at the same time as an amplifier. Again, this isn't a DAC, but the 3D effect, like for example, if you use the amp mode while having the magic bass turned to level 2 or to level 1, you can somehow hear that effect on the setup as well, which can be a good or a bad thing. But again, because this is an amp, it shouldn't really add a character or anything to the overall chain, but at the same time it somehow adds a bit of that unique characteristic to the overall chain. Okay, so there's that. It is very versatile for what it is worth. The RR11 is very versatile for what it is worth, because they added an amp function on a literal radio receiver. I don't think that other people ever thought of that, which makes it the RR11 a very modern, despite having the radio feature, which is quite analog. It features this one, an amp mode, which is a very modern technology in my opinion. Okay, and here is the tuning. Here's the tuning. Again, it is a knurled tuning dial, which corresponds to your tuning here. So you can see, you can tune it to however you like, or tune to your preferred station. You can see, in my opinion, if I were to nitpick, they could have done the indicator here a glow in the dark touch, because most of the time during my commutes during the night, I can't see the indicator really well, since this doesn't have any button for you to bookmark your favorite station. So having this orange indicator, a bit glow in the dark, would really help a lot. Okay, but hey, probably that's just me. And here on the other side, here's the level of range, or sorry, the range of the stations that you can get, or that you can see with the RR11. So as you can see, it is FM1, FM2, and FM3. It is a very decent range for an FM radio. But if I were to nitpick, they could have put an AM switch here as well, because some people prefer AM stations. Okay, this isn't really a deal breaker to me, because I don't usually listen to AM stations unless I want a news station, or here in our country the AM stations are usually for news stations, or what do you call this, religion or religious stations. But there are times that some people, since I lent this to some older people, middle-aged people who prefers radio stations than music stations, they looked for the AM stations in the RR11, which the RR11 cannot do. So it would be nice if FiiO made an RR11 with the AM switch, in my opinion. Okay, so at the top here's the 3.5mm jack that also acts as the gateway for you to use your earphones as an antenna. Okay, so the moment you plug your earphones or earbuds, or the included earbuds, of course, here in the FiiO RR11, you can use the FiiO RR11 will use it as an antenna, aside from the built-in antenna that the FiiO RR11 has. Yes, it has a built-in antenna on this one, for an added consistency or reliability on the signal, as what they call it. So there's that. And as you can see, again, there's the indicators here. There's an LED indicators here for the signal strength and the signal consistency up here as well. And here are the radio stations, or the radio range frequencies that you can tune in. Okay, so in order for you to use the FiiO RR11, you need to plug in your, sorry for that, you need to plug in your earphones first. Then this volume dial also acts as a power switch, so you switch it like so until you hear a click, as you can see there, as you can see. So switch the FM, of course, and you have to find, as you can see, you need to you'll be able to find the stations right away with the FiiO RR11. And here it is in very optimal configuration. As you can see, the signal on this station, probably this is 91 point something, 91.5, or I am not sure. Again, FiiO does not include any bookmarking feature with the with the RR11. So it would be nice if there's a bookmarking feature with this one, but again, we do not have it here. And as you can see, here is the FiiO RR11 in its optimal state. In its optimal state, as you can see, it has a very strong signal here, and at the same time, it is very consistent here as well. Okay, now time for the amp mode, or the amplifier mode. You can use the FiiO RR11 as an amplifier by using this cable, by using the included cable, and switching the amp mode on this one. Yeah, by switching the RR11 into an amp mode, then connecting this to your phone, or to your laptop, or to your tablet. Okay, so it will serve as an amplifier for your setup. If I have to nitpick, the only downside for me about this amp mode is the RR11 is very picky when it comes to cables that you'll be able to use for you to use the amp mode. Okay, so by far, out of all the cables that I have here, I have a U-Green cable, I have an Esager cable, I have the hi-fi cables from the USB DACs I have. None of them worked for me. Okay, none of them really worked except for the cable that the FiiO included. So if you have any suggestions on what cable, what aftermarket / third-party cable should I use I am able to use the amp mode on a longer cable, please do let me know. But so far, the only cable out of all the cables that I have tried with the FiiO RR11, for me to use the amp mode, the included cable is the only one that worked within the within the review period that I used the RR11 with. So, but again, this isn't really a deal breaker to me because I use the FiiO RR11 as a radio, not as an amp really. But it is a nice touch. It is a nice thing to have that FiiO RR11 included an amp mode with as its feature. But again, personally, I don't use it as an amp mode. I use it as a radio, as what it is intended to be. Okay. Now, as for the battery life, the FiiO R11 is rated to charge for at least 2 hours on a full charge if we're talking 0 to 100. But based on my experience, I can confidently say that I charged the FiiO R11 in under around 1.5 hours for a full charge, which is a very respectable, definitely a very respectable charging hour for something that is not really a fast charging capable product. Okay. Now, as for the battery consumption, I have used the FiiO R11 around 6 to 8 hours continuous, depending on the volume slash radio frequency, or for the volume slash radio standby that I am in. So again, it is very respectable for something this small. It is very respectable slash commendable on that one, because again, I am using an analog device while having a small battery compartment. If I were to nitpick, FiiO could have added a nice retro touch in this one by having a user replaceable battery, because most radios or all of the radios that I have reviewed, or that I have used before, has a user replaceable battery. Most of them have AAA batteries, some of them have AA batteries, but at the end of the day, they are user replaceable and they lasted me for a very long time, which would be a nice treat if the FiiO R11 also has it, because in my opinion, if the FiiO R11 has a user replaceable battery, this will last decades as a radio receiver. This will work really well as a radio receiver for decades if it only had a user replaceable battery. Okay. For my verdict, I will be switching in Tagalog language now. Okay. So again, si FiiO R11 is isa siyang unique product, niche product siya. Of course, hindi lahat ng tao is prefer na makinig ng radyo, but FiiO catered. Ibig sabihin parang ayun, naisip nila na meron pa rin sigurong nakikinig ng radyo, so we can create a radio for them for a $40 or 2,000 pesos. So sa 2,000 pesos, ito by far yung pinaka premium na radyo na pwede mong mabili or ma-avail. Premium na siya, at the same time, ayun nga, maliit lang, very handy, very packetable siya. Napaka packetable niya and very compact, as you can see. Oo, bakal talaga siya. And at the same time, magaan siya para sa isang metal na na radyo. Yun ang complaint ko lang dito, wala siyang AM mode, so hindi ako makakapakinig ng mga news. Though meron namang news stations, pero yun nga, nasa AM sila mostly, so hindi ako makakapakinig nun. And ayun nga, sana ginawa nilang glow in the dark tong indicator na to, para ayun, kasi may time gamit ko to sa bus. So pag bus tapos gabi na, nakapatay na yung ilaw kasi dire-diretso na siya doon sa terminal. So hindi ko nakikita yung kung nasa na yung indicator. So glow in the dark, sana maging glow in the dark to, para alam mo yun, mas makita ko rin sa dilim. And at the same time nga, kasi wala siyang button para ma-favorite mo yung yung what do you call this, yung station na yon, kung anong station yung pinakikinggan ko. So ayun, sana gawin na lang nilang glow in the dark yung indicator na to para maganda talaga. Tapos ayun nga, isa ka pang may dito, a case, walang case or lanyard hole sana. Oo, kasi mas siya, portable siya. So yung pag nagkaroon sana to ng case or ng lanyard hole, mas mapoprolong yung itong product na to, yung buhay nitong product na to. Kasi yun nga, radio siya. And ayun sana, magkaroon siya ng user replaceable battery. Kasi lahat ng radyo na na-review ko, ganun yung sistema. Oo. And nagtagal sila sa akin over a decade. Despite yun, na naka-plastic lang yung build quality no, na talaga na madali mabasag, while ito bakal to. So sayang naman if magde-deplete lang din yung battery over time, 'di ba? So sana gawin nilang user replaceable to para sa akin lang naman, of course. And ayun nga, aside sa pagiging radyo, meron tong specific feature na ayan, meron siyang magic bass. So pwede ka magdagdag ng bass sa sa earbuds mo. Probably earbuds mo tunog lata, so pwede ka magdagdag, pwede mong gawing may 3D effect. It isn't for me, pero I see some people na magugustuhan yon. And ayun nga, pwede mo siyang gawing amplifier, isang maliit na amplifier. Okay, ang naalala ko sa ganung feature, yung X Duo na amp, ganito lang din siya kaliit na square, pero ayun nga, ito yung parang pinaka modern take, since pwede mo tong gawing amplifier. And at the same time, nadadala mo tong magic bass feature niya pag ginawa mo siyang amplifier. So pwede ka magdagdag ng bass. It is a very good feature, lalo na sa mga tao naghahanap ng extra chunk or extra bass. Pero ayun nga, they would hindi nagstray away yung FiiO sa sa main purpose niya na maging radyo talaga. Okay? So, for my verdict in English, the FiiO RR11 is definitely a niche product. Again, it is a niche product, but it is a niche product that is well done, in my opinion. Because throughout my reviewing period with this one, it is quite refreshing that I used radio during my errands or running down my errands or during my commutes. It is quite refreshing because I do believe it is because of the uncertainty of what will play next or what I will be expecting next, when compared to a DAP that I know, or that I know what I want to listen with, or there's that. The uncertainty of listening to a radio is a very refreshing to my ears, because again, it has been a while since I haven't listened to a radio. Okay, so for under $50, this is an easy recommendation, because by far this is the most well thought, well implemented, premium built radio receiver that you'll ever get under $50. And yes, it does have a very solid flatted earbuds as well to complement the sound of the FiiO RR11. But I won't be reviewing the earbuds on this one, because I'm planning to review it separately in another video. But for the most part, the FiiO JF1, or this flatted earbuds, the FiiO JF1 is a well-sounding, it is a mid-centric sounding flatted earbud. It is well done, in my opinion, for a mid-centric sounding earbud. Okay, so for $50, I do recommend the FiiO, or under $40 actually, I wholeheartedly recommend the FiiO RR11 if you're looking for a pocket radio. Okay, and that ends my FiiO RR11 review. Again, I'd like to thank FiiO for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me, because again, I won't be editing this extensively since this isn't really my forte. My forte is writing reviews and writing my findings. I don't usually do video reviews, but here we are. We're doing basic reviews, video reviews. Okay? And as for the next one, there is still a lot of backlogs here. Like for example, I do have the 1 or 2 and the Andy Planet with me, the Tanjdim Bunny, the TFZ/ear acoustic audio with me. So there is still a lot of things to tackle. Even the Metapod, the Venture Electronics Metapod, I still have it with me, and it will be reviewed or scheduled to be reviewed next week. Okay, and see you on the next one. Okay, isa pa, next one.